Hello. So this is my first video, uh, just sharing my journey into the world of acting. It's something I've been thinking about doing for a while, though I've put it off and put it off, and I finally just got to the point where I've decided, just do it, Matt. Get on with it. Stop mucking about. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop trying to make the perfect circumstances. Just get on with it. There's a lesson in there somewhere, but I digress. I started my acting journey about September last year, and it was after some big changes in my life. I won't go into too much detail, but I lost my job. I'd been working in big companies for a long, long time, and it was the first time I'd lost my job through redundancy. It kind of put me on a bit of a spiral very briefly, and as usual, whenever anything like that happens to me, I kind of have a dramatic comeback. Try and pick myself up and get back on with it, because that's all you can really do, really. And I was going through some coaching sessions for employment, and it was quite tricky because I'd been doing full-time work for big corporate companies for a long, long time, and my I had a lot of experience and a lot of interesting times, but the idea of committing myself to another big company for full-time work just really didn't sit with me very well. So I decided I would give myself a bit of time to figure out what I wanted to do. And then, for anyone that knows me, I'm super creative. I'm just not honed in on any particular craft or skill. I tend to just do stuff when the impulse comes, and I get involved in things, and this has been like a similar pattern throughout my life in work. So if there's anything creative to get involved in, I usually do, and I sort of take over. But at home I do all sorts when I'm in the mood, or when I have that impulse. And I just thought to myself, I need to be doing something with this energy. And there was a few different things that happened. I saw some ads on Instagram about acting, drama school, and that piqued my interest. And it's something that I'd never really toyed with the idea of it, but I've had different people at different times in my life say to me, Matt, why aren't you an actor? Because of, I guess, the energy, or the way I can tell a story when I've had a few drinks. I don't know. And I've always been quite dismissive of it. And then I saw this ad, and it kind of piqued my interest. And then I was at a barbecue back in June last year, and I met some new people. There was someone there that randomly, after I had a couple of vodkas, and I was telling a story or something, and probably talking over people. That's what I do sometimes. Sorry. And they said to me the same sort of thing that other people had said in the past. Have you ever considered being an actor? Because you can kind of draw people in with when you're telling a story. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. You're not the first person that said it to me, and it kind of got me a little bit energized with the idea of it, because I was in that sort of point where I hadn't decided what I wanted to do. And I said to the person that said that to me, I'd seen this drama school advertised on Instagram, and it's a bit, coincidental. And she said to me, yeah, I went to that drama school, and it was really good, and you should definitely do it. And that kind of, it's not permission, it almost kind of gave me that sort of not validation. I'm trying to think of the right word. It was more that here's a sign to actually consider looking into this. So there's a couple of things that happened, one after another, and then I mean it was probably a good month or two before I actually decided to sign up. And I started in September, and my main purpose was mainly to see, one, is there anything to this? Am I actually going to be good? I mean, good is subjective. Um, can I do this? I can meet some people, see if I enjoy it, and just figure it out. And then I sort of set myself some milestones. I went to my first lesson. I absolutely loved it, and I thought, why have I not been doing this sooner? This is me. This is the sort of thing I want to do. This I want to put my energy into, and be creative in that way, and have fun doing it, but also try and make a career of it. So, I mean, I'm not gonna delusionally go into anything new like that, thinking, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna sign up for a few classes and then it's gonna turn into a career. Because, I mean, it goes without saying, becoming an actor is probably one of the hardest careers to actually get into. I can't remember what the percentage is, but there's a very small percentage of people that actually become working actors. And I decided, if I'm going to make a serious thing of this, I need to set myself some milestones. And if I hit those milestones, then I will seriously consider it. And funny enough, I hit them pretty quick. And I was delighted and surprised, but at the same time, you get a little bit nervous, because you realize that the doing this sort of creative arts work it asks so much of you, in terms of what you have to give to achieve or to get your version of success. I say your version because everyone's version is different. And it it was it was a bit nervous. I quite like nervous, because when you've spent so much of your time comfortable just plodding along and going through the motions, and not having that sort of slight amount of fear, it can really lead to you just not growing as a person, and getting this sort of like nervous energy. I'm like, oh, I've got this unknown, and I really, really enjoy doing it. And now I've met these milestones. Now, what next? How do I move forward from this? And I spent a lot of time looking into the industry, the the business part of it, which they don't teach you at drama schools. Well, not much in some, but there is a lot to learn. And I understand, and the more I learn, the more I understand why so many people don't succeed in becoming working actors. Because, one, it's kind of brutal, in the fact that there's a lot of, I'm not going to say ghosting, but there's a lot of, you put a lot of work into something, into lots of things, and you get a lot of silence back. You don't get anything back, and you really, really have to have a strong sort of feeling of self-worth in order to not let that affect you. So you have to feel like, I am good enough, and I'm all, just me is enough. And you send out emails, you apply for jobs, for roles, and you get nothing back. Nothing, 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 nothing. And that only gets more and more. And then one day you get an email, and they say, we want you to be in this role. And that is like the best feeling. And then equally, when you go on set and you get into costume, and you start working, and it is the craziest feeling where it's like I am literally being paid to pretend, but obviously in a skilled, and it's something that I really like doing. And it's like that's crazy. So once I'd done that, it's quite a long day, and it's, there's a lot of endurance involved. But when you really want to do this thing and you get given that opportunity, you put everything into it to try and do the best version of what they want. And I do a bit of research into the character, etc. And it wasn't like a massive role. It was great. It's just, and afterwards I was like, I just want to do more of this. I really want to do more of this. And then you just get hit by those silence walls again, where you apply for a load of things and you make a bit of effort. You do self tapes, you send them off, and you get nothing. So you do have to have a lot of, you have to be aware of your, I don't want to say mental health. Mental health is obviously a thing, but like your mental state, as in, can I take this? Can I continue doing this and not get anything back? And then, from what I understand, at some point, if I persist and I'm good enough. Well, the thing is, I know I'm good enough, and I don't want to sound like I'm a big head. It's just I've seen lots of actors. I've met loads of actors, and there's been some great, great people. I mean, on a whole, most people I've met in this industry have been really lovely and really encouraging, and that's the best thing, because unlike when you're working in corporate businesses, you're going through this day-to-day monotony. And I think the thing about being an actor and it being a big struggle is that you're all in the same boat, and you all have this, like, when you're in an office and you've got these people that you've kind of trauma bonded with, and they're your friends, and you can just look at each other and go, oh yeah, yeah. It's like that, but everyone is in the same boat. So they're all trying to figure stuff out. They're all trying to find their path. They're all trying to, get going in their careers, or learning as much as they can. There's so many different, like, avenues people go through. But when you talk to them, it's always so fascinating to hear other people's experiences, and and sometimes I learn from what other people have said. And the trick with that is not to take one person's experience or one person's advice. Now, you don't want to be taking too much advice from other people, because, as I said, everyone's journey is different, everyone's experience is different. And that's why when I'm doing these videos, I don't want to sound like I'm giving people advice, because I'm not. But I can share my insights, I can share my experience, and maybe someone can take something from that. If not, I'm just sharing my experience with the world on social media or whatever. That's fine, and that's what I want to do, because I mean, I filmed these videos so a few times, and I keep thinking, oh, I need to get it cut down and not go off on tangents and talk about things. But I really, really can talk to the ends of the earth about this subject, because it is something I'm so invested in, and there's so much to consider, and I'm still learning. I'm still very much at the beginning of this journey, and I'm really excited to, just get on with it. But you got to get past some gatekeepers first, and maybe I'll talk about them in another video. But it's not necessarily a negative thing, because I understand the reason for the gatekeeping. But also there doesn't often seem to be room for nuance in terms of how you qualified to get through those gates. Because I've got lots of nuance in my journey. So yeah, I'll go into that maybe in a different video, but we'll see. But for now, I'm going to leave it here because I've waffled on again, and I don't want these to become me just talking into oblivion and boring people to death. But yeah, hopefully there is something interesting here. If not, that's all good. But until next time, see ya.